Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of the world. Welcome to the very special and first edition of the Behind Erasmus show. You can call it that. I'm your host, Bruno, and I'm here today with a great friend, Martyna. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much for hosting me, Bruno, in your show. I'm Martyna, and I'm from Europe for Youth Association. And I'm really happy to connect with Bruno right now, even though I'm in Poland and you are in Portugal.
Okay, great. And you work for Youth. Would you mind expanding a little bit on what it is?
It's an association based in Krakow with agenda in Berlin, which was established like around 10 years ago. And that's I would say a great association of good friends who are in love with non-formal education, volunteering, and creating a better future for Erasmus plus quality, but also European Union. So more or less, this is Europe for Youth.
Okay, that's great. I can agree with that. It's not like I'm biased towards it. I promise I don't work in there. I'm joking. But yeah, and would you mind like telling us how you first got in contact with Erasmus? Like the first time you heard about it?
Yeah, I was thinking about it lately, and to be honest, it wasn't so early in my case. Erasmus Plus, it's something that I had first contact with in 2016, so 4 years ago. Before that, I knew that Erasmus exists because of my studies. I even applied for Erasmus program to go to Greece on Crete, and I was and I could go there, but I had some problems with writing my paper and go on, so I need more time. And to be honest, I was more into, besides university, I was really interested in non-formal education. That time, I was into workshops, self-development, emotional intelligence, and all of that. This is why I started collaborating with one association in Krakow. Wasn't Europe for Youth that time, different one. And I made the first step as a trainer there, and somehow the CEO, like maybe that's a big word, like our boss, make a contact with someone from Europe for Youth, and at that time they were looking for someone who would go to Germany for a youth exchange, and I wasn't. It was super fast decision. I even remember that at that time I was already working in a bookstore, still having some classes on my university, and then suddenly I receive an email with info pack, and I had a conversation with one of the member of Europe for Youth, and there was application form. You just need to like write down in like thousand words about why would you like to take part in that youth exchange. So I made it immediately. Like even like the chance to go abroad when you are stuck in Krakow, for me it was really tempting. And I applied and I received an email that they are super happy that I will go with them. That was the first youth exchange in Berchum, in Germany, in Hagen, near Dortmund. And it was super exciting for me. I didn't know what I'm exactly discovering. And to be honest, I even checked not so long ago in some my old emails this youth exchange. The name of it was New Lifestyle, Changing Traditions. And for me, being a member of traditional family, going on a youth exchange, which is about new lifestyle and giving away these things that are maybe not accurate to modern world. And this is how I perceive myself, like as someone who want to discover something more beside my eastern Poland village. And yeah, this is how I participate in my first youth exchange. And yeah, that was a journey. That was a journey.
Yeah, because you're talking how fast it was. Everyone that I spoke about, like how was their first experience, it seems as like it's always like that. I had no idea what it was, or I had like some idea. Someone offered me, yeah, and it goes like based on impulse decisions. Just
That's
like
crazy.
yeah, in my case, for example, the first time I got in contact that I heard what Erasmus was I was 16, 17, and I
Wow.
was like in a part district here in Lisbon, and there was like this club full of like people speaking English and all different languages, and I asked like my friend that used to go there all the time, yeah, why there are so many foreigners here? And it was like, oh yeah, that's like a Erasmus bar. I was like,
I
Erasmus,
was
what is that?
there.
You listen? Okay. Yeah, I think they closed it down now, but it's a shame. And
That's
that was the first time I was like, yeah, what's Erasmus? And he was like, oh yeah, it's something that people in university go to go abroad. It was like, oh okay. And like for many years, like 3, 4 years, for me Erasmus was just that something you do in university to go to other cities and didn't know why or the reason. And then my best friend, he got invited to go to a youth exchange it was in Estonia, and he always wanted to go to Estonia. So it was like, yeah, you ever heard about this? No, but you're going to go to Estonia? Yeah, sure, let's go. And he went, impulsive, as I told you. And
yes.
then the the leader of our organization really liked him, the what he did, how he portrayed himself in the project. And he was like, yeah, do you want to be a team leader for this project? And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? And like 2 days before the youth exchange, one of the participants dropped out, and he had like to find someone like really fast. And he was like, "Yeah, Bruno, how about you pack up your things like tomorrow, or you go to Germany?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, but why?" And it was it. And then I didn't even think about it. I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." And
Exactly.
it was my first time traveling without my parents. It was I have been to like Brazil where I was born and Portugal where I live, and that's it. No other countries I've been to. And yeah, and then I was like going to Germany to do I don't know what with people that I don't know. Like, let's go. And it was like this mix of like, what the hell I'm doing here? This seems so sketchy. What's going to happen to me? Why did I do that? And then like the first day, it's like it's a bit weird. It's like the people are not really talking. You feel a bit uncomfortable speaking English. And like
Exactly.
by the second, third day, is like, yeah, I should have done this before. And the last day, you're crying because you didn't want it to finish. So yeah, that's really funny for me.
That sounds like a pattern for first youth exchange or any kind of mobility, because it was exactly like that in my case as well.
Yeah, it's really funny because almost everyone is like that. I don't know if it's like second one of the points of the Erasmus projects have everyone the first experience. I don't know. But yeah, but now you did this first youth exchange, and it was like really your first contact with Erasmus, or that did you do any other projects?
Yeah, that was the first one, and since that time, I've been participating in, I would say, already more than 10 mobilities. And in the meantime, I graduated and I started working as a project manager. So I didn't have enough time to travel for mobilities like easily. But I, during my like full-time job, I even did some, which I think it's my at least for me it's like a huge success, because I didn't want to quit this part, like which I discovered. My life changed a little bit because I need to move out from Krakow. but I was still in a touch with this Europe for Youth Association, which I consider like a really good organizers of youth exchanges and someone who is like trustworthy of collaborate with. But it wasn't the only association that I was cooperating with. So I was that time I already discovered and I took part in one training for Eurodesk. So I was able to filter and to search information about mobilities, trainings, and youth exchanges. And yeah, I would say this is like jackpot. If you know how to do it, you simply can look for something that is truly interesting for you and might be really developing. So because I was into acting, like soft skills and go on, I was looking for this kind of youth exchanges. So I took part in another youth exchange about arts, and it was in Hungary. And it was pretty long because it was 10 days, more than 10 days, I think so, yeah. And it was really nice. And it was huge experience for me because we ended up with performing after this few days of like working together in English, like with mixed backgrounds and go on. We ended up performing in the middle of the city with super nice like modern art, like dancing, acting, and yeah, I really enjoyed that time. Um, and later on, I also took part in really cool training. It was Academy of Actors of Social Change, also in Hungary, but in a different city. Yeah, and it was also really nice. Besides of a lot of acting and different arts, like also huge experience. There were like tools for also running workshops, like more for youth workers, and yeah. Mm, right now, I'm also taking part in youth exchanges, but it's way much different when I did it like as a participant than as a leader or facilitator. Yeah.
I can imagine. One of the things that you talked and like that kind of reminded me of something because as I told you, my first youth exchange, I had like 1 day to prepare myself, and I was like googling how it was and what do they do, and like the first results usually show up more of the like the artsy stuff, more theater and painting. At least that I think maybe it's because it's easier to post about it, like to show what you're doing if it's something like more visual. And I was like, no, I suck at acting. I can even like write my name correctly. How the am I going to paint something? And then I went to my first youth exchange, and it was Face of Europe. It was about European identity, and like almost of the project was like about either culture or politics, and I was like
Yeah.
astounding because it was like the thing that I love. You know how much I like, and I was like really happy that I didn't have to do that. But I was like, oh no, I got lucky. But then I did a second youth exchange, and it was about uh, social integration. And I was like, okay, so maybe now we are going to like something more artsy, teach like some kids to do this or that. And it was like really about policy making, and then they took us out to show how hard it was, for example, people with mobility disabilities to walk in the streets. And it was like really more practical and theoretical work for you to understand and what you can do to help those people who have disabilities. It was awesome. Then my third one was about skills to not only get a job but how to be good at your job. And it was
Oh,
like all this practical training and theoretical training. So I done what 5 projects by now, and I still haven't done anything artsy. So I'm just going to tell everyone that maybe you, if you search like me, you probably be like, no, maybe that's not for me. But there's something for everyone in there. Just like there
that's
was something for me.
That's really true. I really, really enjoy that. Like that we are able to look for something that we know that we might be good at, but also sometimes it's maybe cool just to, answer your friend, okay, I'm going. You don't know where, when, or exactly how, but you know that for sure you will try something new. It was really, really encouraging for me. I think like my personal, like as I am, like today, it's also the result of trying new things on those programs because truly I overstepped my fears like many times there, many times, especially this one with like performing or speaking publicly, discussing. Um, yeah, that's the power of having this mix of different people for a short time in a safe environment.
Yeah, that's the part that surprised me the most because in Erasmus you take a lot of people from different backgrounds, different countries, different genders, different religions, different everything, put them together, and for some magical reason, it doesn't like a war starts. Everyone sometimes get along, sometimes you have some trouble, but usually everyone gets along, and it's like really safe. And I don't know what's the magic, what you guys do, but like, how do you make that work? But that's the thing I like the most. How doesn't matter how different people are, when they are like together in this environment, they all work together and like understand some differences, and they don't like go squeezing the neck of each other. Sometimes maybe they do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I would
it's
say
wonderful.
it's even opposite. Not the fear that you expressed. Like it doesn't end up that there is like conflict between. Mainly, at least this is how I see it so far. It was like a festival of taking care about each other, like of empathy and friendship. Mm, and this is something that I would like truly would like to share with everybody because now with all those people around whole Europe, I know that I have like friend in almost each country, and it's amazing when like I'm typing messages with someone that I haven't seen for 4 years, and I'm like, okay, if you are in Krakow, just let's go, and we are grabbing a coffee, and then suddenly discovering that okay, someone who was yeah, like they met each other 2 years ago after youth exchange, or like all this network
Mhm.
mm, of friendly people, like friendly people. That's it. And I would say this is the biggest advantage for me personally of this. Beside knowledge and experience, friendships, people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say like the last day of a project is like always the worst day because you connect so fast and so deeply with I don't know how with all these people doing this like usually a week or maybe sometimes a bit more, a bit less. And the last day you like, "Ah, okay, goodbye." Try to hold your tears because it's really weird to me because for example my first project I was like I don't trust these people, never saw them in my life. I don't I was like really find this a bit sketchy, and you start talking to people and start find people with something in common with you. Then you discover that everyone is like nice and everyone's like have something in common with you. Start working together and getting that bond, and like it's weird, but you in 1 week you can make like 30 friends like that you
Hmm.
still speak day to day. For example, yesterday I was in a call with the people from this project that I did my first one. It's been a year, and we did like a call with almost everyone together, like 20 top people, 20 something
Wow.
people. I couldn't understand anything because it was people talking over people and a lot of noise, but what matters is the intention. And I don't know, I think maybe people like connect so well because you're like, okay, I'm going to a different place with different people for a week, nobody knows me. They have like no previous knowledge about me.
Yeah.
I can be myself, I can feel comfortable. I don't need like to pretend I'm something that I am back in my home or something social, and you like be true to yourself. And at least what I love to do that in every project you can find someone who is up to do that. There's always a guy that's willing to hear everything you have to say and is going to tell like you everything. You have like this really deep, almost spiritual conversations, and you like go away, talk about the future and the past and all this thing about morals. You have like these wonderful conversations, and then you also have always have like the person that's like the really funniest person that you can think about. He just like say a word and you already have like 20 inside jokes with him already or with her. It's wonderful. That's what I like. That every project is different, but it's kind of like the same in a way because
Yeah.
you can find those people who like connect really well, and then you start to getting good at it. You just look, okay, I think that guy is going to talk with me for like 3 hours about something stupid.
Yeah,
And,
totally agree.
yeah, and, that's why I say, for me, the part you learn more in a youth exchange or a training course or any other Erasmus project is, I think, is outside of the activities. Usually, when you're talking to people and getting like to know the people, the country, because if you read a history book, you're going to get the point of view of the guy who wrote that, and sometimes he didn't even live in there. But usually, for countries that have like a more, let's say, problematic or more chaotic history with different points of views and something that you can see that change from people to people, the better way to understand what happened and how the people feel is like by talking right to them. For example, in our last project about in Germany that we did together, the North Macedonian team, I spoke a lot with them to get like the perspective of what do they think about this and that, about the changing of the country's name. Uh, 3 projects ago, I was in Cyprus and I was talking about them with about Turkey and how do they feel. Then I talk about the Turks. And so it's like really good that you get to like really expand your horizons and you talk to people like there are books. You just need to talk to them and they'll talk to you. They're like no problem as long as
Yes.
you're like respectful, of course.
Yes, exactly. And it's for me, it's also like really tempting to talk as much as I can with as many people as possible during this short period of time, and then to combine the perception of like sometimes historical facts, like current political situation, and yeah, and I will never forget the story about government in Turkey when Erdogan was like closing theaters, national theaters, and like doing like a lot of restriction in Turkey. And my Turkish friends on this academy of actors, they were crying at some point. Like they were just simply overwhelmed. Like we were all freaking out because they didn't know how returning to their country will look like, and we were all connected, Europeans, all together there, trying to cheer them up somehow. But at some point, when one of them, because she was working with many like civils, like women abused, and like she was using theater forum a lot. Um, she started sharing like stories from life of people that she knows, and it was so touching that we were just all crying and we couldn't do anything. And I would say I would never experience that because I'm living in Poland, and so far nothing like that happened to me. And I'm that's a bliss. Yes, I'm really happy to live here, but that's also like developing this um, sensitivity, let's
Yeah,
say,
yeah, I would say so.
for
Yeah.
for those who are not so lucky, you know. But unfortunately, Polish government is also changing right now, but I think it's not the topic.
Yeah, because I have I would say beside common sense, I only have one rule in youth exchanges, and it's not talk about politics before midnight. Because before midnight, yeah, you can have civil conversation, but after midnight, everyone gets like really worked up and go
Yes.
about it. But it's really funny. And now that we got like a really good look on what do you think about Erasmus and how was your experience, I need your completely and honest response. How was like your first impression? What do you thought about that Erasmus was? Because for example, for me, my first impression about Erasmus was like just a bunch of kids finding a reason to travel for free and drink. That was like my first impression.
Um, there was no any prejudice in my case because I was only familiar with Erasmus as a student mobility, like university exchange. So I was totally shocked, totally shocked. I remember that like I gave like 150% of me in that youth exchange community. It was like 60 people. I slept like just few hours. I was like, squeezing the workshops as much as I could and then parting so, like as long as I could. And I had this first impression after. So
Okay. So it was the opposite.
so it was my impression was like, oh my god, what just happened there? Like uh, such a short period of time, so many things. uh, yeah, I remember that we were making laughing yoga. Yeah, and it was
Okay.
such a fun. And I was playing football with refugees who just came to Germany, and it was also like really big experience for me, especially with Polish attitude towards like welcoming refugees. And yeah, like I was really, really happy to be part of that. And I felt, to be honest, I felt from the beginning, this is the place where I belong. So yeah, that was my impression.
It's good because for me at least was like there was like a moment that was like a click. I was like, okay, I'm hooked now. I can't stop working with Erasmus. But yeah, so that's the difference. My first, as I told you, my first um, time I was exposed to Erasmus was with a bar named Erasmus for Erasmus students and people. So, but you know, for me, it was literally the opposite. The more I go, the more sometimes like notice that there's less people that find an excuse just to travel for free, and more people who like is willing to learn and bring some change. So it's good to
Mhm.
have different points of
Yeah.
view.
Yes, I think it's also developing right now. There is more people who are like getting older with program and are able to create environment for learning for others. So I'm pretty happy with fact that attending to mobilities right now is showing me that it's truly you can have like really group like really well collect group because there is yeah, like new beginners, someone with experience, and there is always this exchange, so that's super nice.
Yeah, and the good part about it being like a non-formal method of education is that those people with more experience they can always like help those who are new and still don't know how they should behave or what they need to do. That's the thing that I really like because in I remember in my first project I was that person that was like really shy. I didn't like wanted to
Mhm.
raise my hand to speak, and then I was like, well, my team leader, he's also my best friend, so it's a bit cheating. He was like always pushing me to do that, to speak, and other people like helping me do the things that I wasn't understanding. And like 4 projects later, I even like became kind of a meme in the project because I would finish my stuff and I would go like run around asking everyone if they need help, trying to do that, trying to do that, and like I became really great friends with the organizer of this project because I went to another project and he was like even telling the other facilitators that I was like run away to finish my things and start running to help everyone, and it was like I didn't even need to do my job as a facilitator. He was doing for me. That's the wonderful thing that you can like really feel yourself like growing and expanding and learning. You can also like
Exactly.
just check like your first youth pass to your last youth pass. At least in my case, my first one was like I learned this, next topic I learned that, next topic, and like my the second, not the last one, uh, it was 4 or 5 pages or something like that because I even learned how to know that I learned something to tell. It's like so it's
Yes.
really wonderful then.
That's the meta level. Great.
Yes, the mental level. Knowing that you know something, it's like it's
Yeah.
Erasmus for you. But okay, Martina, we're going to take a quick break now, Let someone we breathe, take our water because we be speaking a lot, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zora and I'm doing an European voluntary service in Poland at the Europe for Youth Association. And I would like to show you today how to apply for ESC, which stands for European Solidarity Corps, which is basically a voluntary service in the EU. Everyone between the age of 18 to 30 can participate, but you can apply already when you're 17-year-old. It can last from 2 to 12 months, and one nice part about it is that the costs are covered by the EU. The participants can choose from a wide range of projects in different fields, such as, for example, in a more social direction, integration, environment, health, culture, physical education. You can see that here. These and more information you can find on this link, which is also placed below, and it's the website to apply on. So here you can read the information, and you can find more on the right side. And if you're convinced, you can join the Corps. Then you have to create an account where you have to fill in your details and confirm it by email. Now it's like this. You don't write an application for every project you want to apply for, but you send your profile information to them. So when you're in the portal now, first I suggest you to edit your profile. This is basically the application form because here you can add information about yourself, so the organization get a clearer picture of what they can expect from you. So let's check out the opportunities. As you can see, they placed all open projects which you can apply for on a map, where you can zoom in to see where the projects are happening and what is it about. On the left side, you can filter the projects by country, topic, and the dates you want to go to. And below, they are listed. If you found something interesting, you just click on it for more information. Now you can read through it, and if you think you fit in, you can click apply. Sometimes they ask for an additional motivation letter. Then you just write a few sentences of why you want to join the project. That's it. So it's as simple as that. And after that, the organization hopefully gets back to you. You wait for the reply, and most of the times they will ask you for an interview to get to know you better. You can apply for as many projects as you like, and I suggest you to use that to higher your chances for an ESC. Also, next to the application online, you can search for a supporting organization which can help you with the process. And don't be shy and be honest about the information you put on your profile. It's the best for everybody, and it's a great opportunity, and I like that you are thinking about it. Good luck with your application. I wish you all the best, and I will link some videos and information which I found useful. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're still here with Martyna, and now we're going to move on to our next topic. Well, enough talking about the past. Let's talk about the present. Would you mind telling us what are you doing right now?
Yes, right now I'm working mainly on Erasmus Plus projects because in Europe for Youth, the association that right now I'm working in daily, we are doing a lot of youth mobilities. And yeah, we are writing applications and creating youth exchanges in Krakow. Not so long ago, there was a new venue open where the great plan for the future is that we will be able to host many people from around the Europe, like beautiful place and I would say amazing environment for non-formal education. But unfortunately, due to the situation, we didn't start yet, but soon. Um, Beside of Erasmus Plus projects, we are doing a lot of work on regional level in Krakow. So cooperating mainly about youth policy, but also like decision-making process. Yesterday, I was chosen to be a member of Commission of Civil Dialogue, not only member, like
Oh,
vice
congratulations.
president, or not, it's a big word, it's not vice president, but I would be really happy to cooperate more with Municipality of Krakow. And yeah, I'm also really happy that in Europe for Youth we have such a good team of volunteers because I feel it's a big support. Yeah. Policy making is not my, even though I was studying this topic, it's not something that I would choose like for like, as a first thing. Um, but I'm trying. I'm trying. Uh, and Europe for Youth is, I would say, it's a really lucky and a really well working association because right now we are opening youth club, and I will be also really, really happy to be part of working there. Um, yeah, taking care about garden it's also something that I'm interested in. And yeah, Krakow it's a great place, so comparing to I would say our work is not so challenging in the environment when there is like many youngsters willing to take part in the projects that we are creating. And I cannot wait because it's more challenging to also include people from like smaller places, like sometimes just yeah, somewhere in the middle of the nowhere there is like group of cool people, and this is also the opportunity for Europe for Youth, especially with this new venue because it's a small city, and yeah, we are willing to cooperate with kids and teenagers there as well.
Ah, that's awesome. And you forgot about something that Europe for Youth is doing too. They are
Um,
hosting three wonderful, beautiful, awesome volunteers. Don't forget
exactly.
about that.
And modest.
And really modest volunteers. There's one guy, he's like really humble. It's like, I think his name is Bruno or something like that. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. The atmosphere in the office of Europe for Youth is like, it's not, I don't even, because I'm telling Goshi all the time, my mentor, I don't even feel like I'm working. But I'm supposed to stop working at 4 p.m., but when I look at the clock, it's like already 8 and she's screaming to me to get out of the office. So sometimes we even got like a studio in the office where we can record podcasts and other live shows and radios. And then sometimes I sneak into the office at Saturday or Sunday just to go record something here and there. And it's really good. And it's one of my biggest fears for going to do this volunteering was like, what if I don't know what to do, or they ask me to do stuff that I don't, or maybe I don't feel really comfortable because to be honest, I don't have really a lot of experience in this area. But then like everyone is so helpful and willing to help you, and then I discovered that what you guys wanted me to do was what I like to do, aka the boring stuff. I know. What can you do? So it's been like really wonderful, and I love the way like in Krakow is the Embasada Cracovia. What's the name?
Yes.
Yeah, how that works. Like, do you mind explaining what it is?
Yes. Ambasada Krakowian is a place for like main cooperation among citizens of Krakow, but also it's really open for any NGO that is based in Krakow and in Lesser Poland area, or I would say that they are open for everybody, and it's working already for few years. And it's created by entrepreneur and highly motivated people who are able to split time in Ambasada Krakowian among themselves to take care about the space. And they also rent because it's pretty big build, like not building, like a flat. So yeah, they are renting it for workshops. They are like hosting many events, mainly supporting the activities of citizens of Krakow. So civil garden, meet there. You have a lot of conferences, like small conferences. You can go for a meeting of like I think you've been not so long ago on a book.
Yeah.
Lovers to exchange your favorite titles. Yeah, and I was also my first steps with NGOs were made also there because I was looking for places when I can run my workshops for free, and I met one of the member that time I think of the board of Ambasada Krakowian, and she with this networking people skill, she introduced me to a guy who was the in head of the association Absolwenci na walizkach, which means like graduated out of suitcases.
Okay.
So graduated. So that was the first association that I was cooperating with.
Okay, yeah. But also, see, as I was talking about, even like outside of Year for Youth, you can find like people who was willing to help you and teach you, and like that fear that I had that I couldn't like find something to do or a place that I could belong or the help with everything I could, like was totally like unreasonable. And for example, I went to this book Lovers, as you call it, like in the embassy, and I would like met someone, and we were like organizing like a workshop together. But then the Kung Flu happened, and never mind about that. But yeah, and the Krakow for me is like a really good environment because not only are NGOs in there, but you have like this community of people willing to help each other. And another thing that I really like about the Year for Youth is so everyone have something common, but like have something different to bring to the table. For example, one of the volunteers, Matthew, he's from social work. Zora, she's from pedagogy. I think Gosha is social media or marketing. She's studying.
Yes, she is, but she's also cognitivist.
Yeah, and so you see, you have people from all different backgrounds, and then you have me that doesn't do anything for his life. But yeah, you get everything, and everyone's like helping each other. Maybe you don't know how to do this, then someone can go
Yeah.
ahead and
But
help
it's
you.
also like I would say for me personally, like whole environment of NGOs or even like this community activities is it's not about like what you graduated, like how much do you earn or like where you were born. That doesn't matter at all. The only thing which counts after all is like, do you want to do that? Do you want to make impact? Are you willing to support? Like, will you give your hand in the moment when, like, when something happening? As you said, like, even though, yeah, like maybe it took you like only one or two projects, like to step out from the role of being shy to tutoring other people, and this is exactly how development should work. Like let's not wait for being graduated. We can do it already. We don't need like special permission for some old guys for that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good because I think it really doesn't matter like your background. You can find something to do related to Erasmus. The leader from that friend that I told you, that's a leader from of organization. His background is like in IT. He was like a programmer. He would work like to making apps, and now he's like working with Erasmus, organizing projects. Like it's
Yeah.
completely different from what he's used to do. And I asked him like, why did you like move to a small city? You're like working for a big company in the capital. You in an area that like guaranteed money and like a safe work. He was like, yeah, but I enjoy doing this. So why not?
Yeah,
And
totally.
sometimes it's simple. It's simple because maybe it's not like, for example, now because of this situation, it's a bit harder for us to work. Thankfully, we can like work abroad and in home. But for example, if you had like another job, it would be more safe and you have like a regular income. But you wouldn't feel like we get to feel in this area and not only feel but see like the changes you're making. And sometimes you get in contact with someone in a project and like years later you met that person, you can see that that person is different because of that project, that she still remembers something that you did or the impact that you had. And I find that's like really awesome.
That's totally true, and I would say that's maybe it will be more like personal, like even philosophical. How what scares us, like what is scary, how what we are afraid of, and why this those fears like would what will they cause in our life. um, I would say just be brave, even though it might means that like not having like regular income, it's not the worst thing. And I think all of the people who are waiting for reimbursement after youth exchanges know that it might be sooner or later.
The part it's a part that goes close to me because there was a project I went. It was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks I had the reimbursement, and then there's one that's like 9 months by now, and I'm still waiting. So
Yeah.
depends, but that's not what it matters. But let me put you on a spot for a second. If you were to work in Erasmus right now, what do you think you would be doing with your life? Can you imagine?
Yeah. I'm pretty open for many things, like trying new things, and I'm choosing the places to work where I feel good. So, and to be honest, I can do a lot of stuff because I believe that it's also what is our attitude to learning new things. And yeah, I was taking care about projects like interns, also workshops. It wasn't so far away from Europe for youth, but the scale is totally different. Yeah, I made it like a huge, like for many people, like unemployed, um, or yeah, or like from like teens who are like in a craft schools and like they need some like more practical skills. And yeah, and I would say like more or less my personal or my personal not personal my job path is pretty clear so far. I'm focused about uh, doing something which at least I believe mine caused something good. um yeah, so that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's better my response. Because if I wasn't doing Erasmus right now, I'd probably be sitting here, but instead of talking to you, I'll be talking to someone online about some game. So yeah, it's good that I got to experience new things and get out of my shell.
I'm happy to be like here.
Yeah, because for me, I would really say, and it's a bit like maybe it's a bit dramatic to say like that, but I really feel and know that like the Erasmus like changed my life and was like really important for me. That first project that I did was really like a turning point because at that moment I had like no idea what to do because I never was like a really good student. I was I had good grades here and there, but then I never felt like motivated. I was like always complaining and say, why do I need to learn this or why this thing doesn't will help me? And then like I discovered that this wonderful thing called non-formal education exists, and I was like, wait, what? And I just discovered that no, it's not that I don't like to learn. It's that I don't like to learn that way. I love to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, because and then I started like reflecting about it, like why is it learning only when I'm when between like four walls in a roof with a book or some old person telling me what to do? Like, no, you'll get to learn all the time with different methods, and that's why I love Erasmus because most of the part you're learning by yourself, or either someone is how they say teaching to learn, or I don't know,
Yeah.
learn to learn, something like that. So it's always like something that you get motivated to do, and you don't feel like that's like our obligation. You learn because you want to learn, or sometimes you learn and you don't even notice that you learn. And for me, that was really good. That's I think the non-formal education is the part that changed the most of my life because, for example, I had no interest in like on being, for example, a person that would teach someone like we can say like a teacher or tutor. I was like, no, that's like boring. There's no reason why I would do that. It's like an ungrateful job. But like the more projects I go, I was like, man, I would love to like help people learn or teach them something. And I just discovered that I have this inside me because I didn't knew there was another way of doing things. Because
Mm.
I'm always complaining and rambling about it. There's like this phrase that I saw was like, our education system is from the 18th century, teach by people from the 19th century with students from the 20th century. It's like, it makes no sense. It's really outdated, and I really
Yeah.
think and hope that for the future, this non-formal education that some people may call like crazy or not even education might be like the norm. But that's a discussion for another day. And
Mm.
just like to get your point of view, do you know when was like the your turning point that you felt that like Erasmus was your thing that you wanted to do or participate?
I think each time when I return from youth exchange or training, um, it was like returning after like long journey, and I'm truly thinking that I'm fooling, I'm cheating time because uh, when you do, at least for me, it works like that. That I feel that I'm living longer because of all of the people and possibility to know them and try new things, and like it's so many challenges squeezed in a short period of time, that sometimes like the regular day of my regular job that I had in the past is nothing compared to that. So yeah, that's
It's really funny what you said because for me projects they're like so paradoxical because when you're in a project it feels that that week was like a month but also feels that was just one day because it's
yeah.
like so intense. You're doing stuff all day, talking all day, meeting people all day, all the day do things. You get really tired. Sometimes you don't even sleep really, to be honest. Your fault, not the organizer's fault. Then you get up again, repeat that, and get up again, repeat that for like a week straight. You're like totally exhausted, but you're like, wait, it's like the last day already?
Mhm.
It's weird how it feels that it's so long, but also so short at the same time. It's like really intensive and compacted. It's not even projects like my volunteering. I was like starting in January something, and when I noticed it was like a month already, and I was like, no,
How?
how? No, it's 2 weeks, and then it was like 2 months already. I was no, it's not, and it's really weird because every day I think you at least like learn something different or do something new that you never do. For example, for me, I every time I go out in Krakow, like I saw something different, something new that I never saw before, and I'm like so amazed with this or so amazed with that. For example, the old city, I like to go there and just like sometimes sit down in the stairs of a building, because like that's a really interesting building.
Yes, that's amazing, and I would say that you are collecting really nice like memories for like wherever you will be. Like it's, I would say it's like phenomenon for me. Like when you are traveling and you are putting yourself in the culture, totally different culture, you are letting yourself to be different person, like discovering not only new places but Bruno is different there, like on the main square, or Martyna in Lisbon. Like I was volunteering in Portugal, was different as well. But now when I'm thinking about it, oh my gosh, how amazing it was that, for instance, I was able to make like soap bubbles in like
The
uh,
street.
in the street, and even with past of like being like managing like big project, but at some point I was like, okay, I'm finishing that, I have time for volunteering, and you know, be like hitchhiking, taking care about the goats, meeting like strangers, and receiving hospitality, um, having plenty of time for looking at the ocean. And to be honest, I'm holding it as like the big wisdom. And it was just, and yeah, it was just the result of being part of another program, European Union program, that time European voluntarily, oh my god, now it's European Solidarity Corps. That time it
Yeah,
was
European Voluntaries. No, it was
service,
EVS, service.
service,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
changing the name for some reason. Whatever, I guess.
Yes,
But
now.
yeah, it's really wonderful. And for me, the best part is like the small things. Because, for example, you live your whole life in a country, everything to you is normal. But like, for example, I went to Poland. You know my obsession with Grzeszki. Grzeszki? It's
Let
like
me
a
explain. It's a chocolate, traditional, almost traditional Polish chocolate bar. Really simple and tasty.
yeah, and it's like so cheap, so like you see it everywhere. It's like the basic thing. I went to that. I never taste something like that. It blew my mind. Like half of the money that my food allowance I get for volunteering, it goes to that.
They should pay you for like doing this advertisement now.
Oh, no, yeah, every friend that I told them, yeah, I'm going to Portugal for a week. Do you need me to take something? They were like, yeah, bring me one of those things that you don't stop talking about. That's the thing. I'm like in Poland, meeting a lot of amazing people doing a lot of amazing work, and like even the small thing that is like a chocolate waffle is like
Yeah.
the thing that I should think of nowadays. It's fine the pleasure in the small things doing the voluntary. That's like really fun. Or for example, going to karaoke with Matthew, singing till 3 a.m. with a bunch of old people. It's like it's amazing work. And that's the stuff that I never thought that I would do or like enjoy in a volunteer. I was like, okay, I'm going to work, and then sleep, and that's it. No,
Oh my gosh. I would say your image of volunteering, like work, and sleep, is totally different than most of the people have. Most of the people have like, okay, there will be some work, but there will be like discovering, traveling, meeting people, partying, cooking, yeah,
that's good
traveling.
that I had the opposite. Oh, with pierogi, yeah. That that's sitting hard. I'm trying to make here at home, but it's not going well. I,
Wow.
I really got used to eating like every week. So, yeah.
So maybe like another idea for videos, it will be like digital Polish cooking classes.
And the good thing about Erasmus is that that's possible because everything is possible. Well, yeah, Martina, we're gonna take like a quick break, and we'll be right back. See ya.
See you.
Education, training, youth and sport. The EU cares about them all. Since 1987, the Erasmus programme has been supporting mobility of young people. More than 3 million students have studied in another European country thanks to Erasmus. The upgraded version of the EU programme, adopted by the European Parliament for 2014 to 2020, is Erasmus+. 14.7 billion euros will provide opportunities for over 4 million Europeans to study, train, gain experience and volunteer abroad. This represents more than 2 billion euros a year, in which the majority of funds goes to education and traineeships. 1/10 goes to youth, and a bit less than 2% for sport. There's a stronger focus on improving young people's job prospects and tackling youth unemployment. 5 years after graduation, the unemployment rate of young people who studied or trained abroad is 23% lower than that of their peers who didn't. But who can benefit from these mobility exchanges? Students in higher education, up to 2 million, including 450,000 trainees. Students seeking vocational training and apprentices, up to 650,000 grants. Volunteers and youth workers, about 500,000 young people, and teachers, youth trainers and other staff. Opportunities here for 800,000 people.
Hello, and we are back to another part, and guess who is still here? Martyna. Okay, we're now talk about the future, because we are talk about the past and the present. And what do you think is going to be the future of Erasmus?
Well, that's a big unknown. I think it really depends of the future of European Union in general. I would say that I hope that programs which are like working well and are successful, and if we will be so lucky as we are right now to live in the times of prosperity, like economical prosperity, and with these big budgets for development, for education and programs like that. If it will still exist, I would be like really happy to see Erasmus Plus supporting this lifelong learning mission, but also Erasmus Plus based on and run by the people who know what is it about. So I would say like creating a quality based on the experience of people who are now participating in youth exchanges, trainings, and all of the kinds of mobilities, teachers, also students. And I would say like someone who wants to try it is able to really see what is working or what is not working, and improvement is the future for me. So let's not agree for the things which are not working. Let's just try to improve them. That's also, like, I would say, my mission for doing projects in the future. Yes, let's try to make them as cool as we can.
And would you mind telling us what you think it's not working, or what would you like to change or improve?
I would say it won't be anything super general. For me personally, sometimes Erasmus Plus might be a little bit exclusive because of the fact that people need to buy tickets on their own. And for that, I think it would be like really nice to have this flexibility of cooperating between national agencies and associations, maybe, to give a chance for those who simply cannot froze their money for some months. Because when you are like 17, 18 and you can start doing that, simply you might not have those money. And I'm saying that because when I started, I was already a little bit older than, like, comparing to you with your first experience. And I remember that, like, I need to borrow money, for those like tickets and go on. And I can imagine, I also remember like taking the friends of mine who was like in rough financial situation and helping her with going there. So yeah, for me, this is a little bit like disturbing, because it's visible that it's not about how much do we have, but how all awesome we are and how much we can contribute. So I would say that's something which is personally important for me. And what is also not working is sometimes I would say the recruitment process. Different association has like different standards for that. For me, the best option is as it was created from the beginning. So the pattern is, let's try to create a mixed group. Let's try to include as many diverse backgrounds, participants, and we are giving a chance to do something great. And yeah, and as we know, sometimes it might be troubling because because of the different things, totally different.
Yeah, no, I totally agree because in the same situation, I didn't have like the money to buy a ticket and go, but like luckily my organization from Portugal, you can like pay like I think it's 30 euros or something like that, and they buy you the tickets, so you don't need to worry about that. And it's much easier because Erasmus was made like to give opportunities to those who don't have opportunities to travel, but then you need to pay 200, 300, even like 400 euros depending of the place. So that kind of like really doesn't make sense. But hopefully I'm seeing that more and more organizations are starting to do that. They buy the tickets for the participants. But then again, usually the organizations don't have too much money, so it's hard. Sometimes comes out of the pocket of the own organizers. And I don't know, it would be even less bureaucracy if it would be in come for the Erasmus budget from the national agency to buy the tickets. This way, it will even like cut the risk of fraud or someone losing their tickets and not getting the reimbursement because they will be already the ones responsible for the money. So yeah, that's something I totally agree. I would like to change, and they should improve. And I think it's like really something basic and logical, but sometimes that's how bureaucracy works in politics. And yeah, also about the recruitment process. Yeah, I think we should have like a standard recruitment process like to everyone. So it doesn't matter which country you are, it's still like the same. But it doesn't matter which organization you are, it's still like the same opportunities and criterias.
Yes.
Because it happens for you to go to a project and you have like people from a country, they're like from different areas, but then there's like a country that are people from the same area. Sometimes they're all like a group of friends, and when that happens, usually the people who are already like know each other are from the same area. They get together and they don't
That's
like
true.
integrate. They don't feel as
Yeah.
part of a group because they're stuck together.
Yes, and it can be changed easily. I would say even if the agreement would be with a point where like we are all as associations obligated to post information about project on a certain website, which is just accessible for whole like country, and then just simply adverse this website for like even like in a public TV station, or like using like as many channels as we can. And maybe in that case like kids who are living somewhere in the village will know that something like that exists. And this is also the mission of Europe for Youth, to share the information about possibilities, opportunities to as many youngsters as we can. And I'm surprised because sometimes they have no idea that something like no even idea, and the impression is like wow, it's like how bizarre it might be. And then oh, how cool. And then there is like one beginner, someone who is making first step, and then mostly once that you are stepping on this path, you will never return.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's almost like you can say it's like a drug that you keep doing, keep doing, keep doing. You need to do more and more and more. But I also think it's like almost like a cult because for me, I never heard about Erasmus, but the moment I did the first one, I start seeing people from Erasmus everywhere, and you kind of know each other. And the good thing is like you meet someone new, and they, for example, I was in Krakow. I met someone. He was like, "Oh yeah, what you doing here?" "Oh yeah, I'm volunteering from Erasmus." "Oh yeah, me too." And you already have like 3 hours of conversation just based on that. But yeah, and the thing is like the European Union has like one of the biggest GDPs in the world, so it's not going to be like cost them really money to just like put some advertisement on TV or on radio, like for people who doesn't have like internet or computers, like something basic. And I really agree. But yeah,
Yes,
but,
yes. I'm surprised that it's not working like that. And to be honest, I don't know why. I think it's just maybe there is so many options, but I wouldn't say so. Like for youngsters, it's not so many, especially when you are living in a smaller cities.
yeah, yeah, true, true. And still talking about future. What does the future hold for Martina? What are your plans for the future?
Right now we are writing application for EduLARP, which is like educational live action role playing project, and yeah, I'm excited about it, and I'm really excited about the new venue, um, like the one I mentioned at the beginning of our meeting. The future of Martina is now is also like dog adoption. So I'm also like really happy about fact of like adopting dog and figuring out how to live with dog in the times of projects from time to time. And yeah, here I would say greetings from my parents. I hope that you will support me as you are.
I will.
And yes, and the future is for me, I would say always bright.
Awesome. Staying positive. That's great. Well, Martina, thank you for participating. Thank you for your time.
Thank
It
you.
was really a great conversation, and I think we can still talk about 3 or 4 hours more, but I don't want to take too much of your time. Would you like to plug something, your social media, any projects?
Europe for Youth, I would say website now mainly, and yeah, an Instagram account which maybe include a little bit of my taste there as well.
Oh, great. And can you get some inside knowledge if you're going to create Instagram for your new dog, or is going to coexist with you on your own?
No, no.
Ah, okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you again, Martina, and see you guys soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, Bruno.
Bye.